Once again, we please the arena now. Thank you very much, Marcus. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to welcome you to Maastricht for the FEI Driving World Cup season 2024-2025. The existence since 2001, the FEI Driving World Cup has provided...
Welcome along. Delighted to have you with us tonight as we get set to go driving here for the second leg of the 2024-2025 World Cup season, because it is time for the FEI Driving World Cup of Maastricht, the preliminary leg, the qualifier for tomorrow that'll set things up and get things going as we bring together six very, very fast drivers and their teams of four, and of course the Grims and the teams on the back as well. It is an all-round team performance that's going to be required, and with the man that's won for the last 3 times in a row here in Maastricht with us once more. Yes, that man from Australia, Boyd Excel, is in the field tonight. So will he be able to do it for a 4th time in a row? Will Kusteronda, perhaps, who won it for the first time here when it was first held in 2018? That'll be tomorrow night to find out. But I guess the big challenge, the big interest from the Dutch here in Maastricht is certainly going to come to Bram Chardon, the man that won the World Cup final this year in Bordeaux. And if he can do it there, he can do it here. Of course, he beat Boyd that day, and the man that has won so many titles, more than anyone, ended up in second place. We've got the best in the business. They're with us here to fly their way round on a whistle-stop tour. Shall I try that again? On a whistle-stop tour of this arena, this driving course set by Jeroen Houteman, one of the best, the Dutch course designer, and we're going to get a chance to see our drivers head our way. Now they're doing a parade, so that looks like Glenn Geertz. Is that? Is it? No, sorry, that's Gigor van Stein. I know it says Kusteronda, but this is because they're coming in to do a little parade, I believe, ahead of the start. Germany with Kappa, Desperado, Liabella, and Playboy 276, the horses. This is Glenn, with his team of Grace. Figueroa, Udo Idia, Valentino Idia Silva, and Zeus Apollo for Glenn Geertz from Belgium. Of course, this is the second leg of the season. Lyon last week. Completely new set of drivers here in Maastricht. I mean, the series just gets bigger and bigger. Well, I say completely new, because there was this lady there. It's Anna-Marika Meyer from Germany. Fastest lady in four-in-hand indoor driving. It's got a beautiful touch on the reins. Driving here this evening with Fredidon 38, Quebec, Soratiel, Ziatin and Zazie 30. Well, there he is in his wonderful green colours that make it so distinctive to know that with us is the world champion. We have Bram Chardon tonight with Conor Varsano, Mara, Fevia Faro, Favori and Sillery Cropula Zimfor. There's Boyd Excel, Banglock, Barney, Katie Did Duchess and Mad Max. Which will only leave one more to come. And that will be the man that'll probably stay in at the end of this, because he'll be out of the box first. He won it the first time it was held here back in 2018. Kusteronda. Driving tonight with Maestro Zenta, with Edgar, Tilu de Calu and Tibi. Well, we're going to look to take the top three from the first drive into the drive-off tonight. The order to which they finish tonight will set the starting grid. It's one way to look at it for tomorrow evening. Tomorrow night's when the points get paid out. All trying to get to Bordeaux, to the home of the final in February of next year. There's a long way to go from Maastricht to Stuttgart next week, to Stockholm, Geneva, London, Mechlin and Leipzig in early January to decide who will find their way through. Well, here we go. I think we're good. I think we're ready. Let's get set to go racing tonight with Kusteronde, the Dutch driver that'll start things off, a former World Cup winner in 2013. This year at the final, he finished in 4th. Multiple national champions and team medals for the Dutch. The music's about to kick in. Oh boy, how I've missed this. This is so good to be back with the World Cup. Here we go. It's the opening night. It's qualifier for Kusteronde for the Netherlands. Here we go. Remember, 4 seconds to add for anything that we decide to destroy on our way around this arena. Or simply take a tennis ball off the top. Over to as we race across the bridge. Now, watch out for the wheelmen and women. And the brake man on the back as well. The groom's working hard to keep the balance as we start to begin the twists and turns around this arena. But it's nothing compared to what's coming as we loop from 4. And now we head to the obstacles for the first time at 5. In on the left, there's A. Back on ourselves to come up through B. He's already got 4 seconds to add. There's B now. Trying to do a 360, little corkscrew movement to get back to C. Then he's going to turn left-handed, come out of the obstacles to turn back in at the top to go through D. Now, watch out for the handbrake turn. Shift the vehicle round if you can. So intricate with the brakes. Never mind the control over these horses. As he gets through F, he can turn left. They found their line and out we go. So 5 is behind us, 6 is on the long side, and now we come back round to the bridge for 7. The gates are on the way in. Up and over in Maastricht. 8's on this short side, in the corner. Beautifully judged, she's keeping it to just the 4 seconds to add at the moment. Through the double of cones at 9. Which will bring him into 10. Second round of obstacles coming up now. I think he's slid his way through A at pace. He got that on the corner quite nicely. Now he's found his way into B. It's like a case of ever-decreasing circles, really, as he goes through C. And now it gets fiddly. Back on himself to D. Round and round the merry-go-round. And off we go. He's done a brilliant job, has Kusteronde here this evening. His team really working with him, making a tremendous debut on the circuit for the season. A man that was in 4th in the final. He's on the run towards home now. As he goes from 12, he's kept it to 4. That's your final gate. He's coming home. What a start. Well done, Kusteronde. So we're off and running. We certainly are off and running with a round like that. So just the 4 to add, 160.63 for the first to go. Let's have a little look back at this, up and over the bridge for the first time on the way out. When you consider the lightness of touch that these drivers have, I mean, the communication is not from just the reins, it is, of course, from the voice as well. There is such a bond of understanding between driver and that team, and you really have to have them working as a team, otherwise it's never going to work. It's as simple as that. And this man has proved in his career to be the best of them all. There is no one driver that has proved himself better than this man, perhaps if not the greatest driver the sport has ever seen. This is the man from Australia, Boyd XL. But when you're the best at something, it means that the others will all aim to try and beat you. The one thing that has become so apparent over recent years is how much better everyone else in this sport has begun to become, which we saw this year with Branchard winning that drive off to beat him in the World Cup final. Boyd has lifted the level of this sport. He has lifted every element and every driver and every horse with the way that he has gone about it. Now, what can he do tonight? He has an unbelievable record in the World Cup leg here on the Saturday night. The round tomorrow night, the points-paying round. He's unbeaten in 3. The horses that he has out in front of him, this team, which is a special indoor team, and that's one of the other keys. The drivers have horses like this. We'll see a little bit of a difference with Anne-Marika's horses a little bit later. Hers more all-round horses do the outside circuit and the inside circuit, but these ones that little bit more compact in their frame. It allows with the twists and turns, and it allows with the acceleration. Now, Boyd's kept it clean at the moment, but we're not done yet. We're going up through D. Now we do the loop back on ourselves through C. And then thread ourselves through, and off we go from E to F and way now. Look at this, we're really flying, and the unbelievable accuracy of Boyd. So unusual to watch him make any sort of mistake. It does happen, but it happens so rarely. What is he going to do? Clean through 8, still chasing a time of 160.63 when he gets to the end of this, but we're going into the second set of obstacles. Kept it clean at the moment, still pushing. Oh, gets a perhaps sneaky little turn in there, and look at the leaders pulling away. The wheelers doing the driving, taking the weight. The leaders pushing hard, dragging them along. Boyd in full control as the team on the back lean in for the final turn. He's going to blow the time away. He's heading to the line. He stops it at 148.99. Boyd XL is back in business as he starts out his season for 2024-2025 in the FEI Driving World Cup. Faster and clear. See the way the brake man on the back, just the step man, giving it a little bit of a lift, giving it a little bit of a move where he can on the step. Look at that. It's so important to finding those extra tenths of a second, and this is a sport just like Formula One, just like motor racing. It will come down on occasions to tenths of a second. And this man has proved it, because if there is anybody who just seems to get better year on year, has pushed Boyd harder and harder in this sport, it is this man. It is this team. This, of course, the reigning world champion of 2024 is Bram Chardon. Followed his father, Iceman, he is the Iceman, his father, Icebrand, into the sport, and has certainly shown what a natural talent he is behind the reins. This year was the 3rd time he won the World Cup final, 2019, 22 and 24. But interestingly, on the Saturday night here tomorrow, he's never won at home in Maastricht. First part of the game is to get yourself in the top 3. Get yourself through to the drive-off. When you look from the outside in, it just looks like they already know where they're going. It's so smooth, silky smooth. Superb driving through the first set of obstacles from the World Cup holder. hopefully quick enough down the long side as he comes through the double. He got a little bit of a wiggle on. He actually did a really good job of just making the corrections he needed there. Now we go into the obstacles, the second set of obstacles. Still pushing hard. 148.99 will be the ultimate time to beat. If he can beat Boyd in this round, it'll be blow one for Bram. And psychologically, the first time the two of them have been out this year, yes, it's only the first round on the night of the qualifier, but to get that one up first time round, and that's where the problem came. It's all got a little bit twisted, and sadly 4 seconds to add, and I'm not sure he'll be able to do much about that because he lost time as well as adding the 4 seconds. Boyd was over the line now. That's quite an advantage, and I'm not sure that that was just the mistake. Psychologically will have an impact. Inevitably, as your teams get fitter, as I say fitter, they've been in training for months before they get here, but once you get out, you get competition fit, don't you? And once that starts to happen, then you can begin to push forward. But Bram Chardon, a little disappointed. That's quite costly here this evening. 166.22 on the clock. So actually, he's putting himself maybe at risk of not going through into the drive-off tonight. And okay, the points are given out tomorrow night, but that error in the second set of obstacles could turn out to be awfully costly as you see the replays of him kicking up the dirt around this arena. It's like watching a rally car with real horsepower. What a superstar this lady is. Finished fourth in Lyon last week. It's Anna-Marika Meyer for Germany. Now you see here that now this set of horses that she has, she uses both on the indoor season and on the outdoor season. You can see just that slightly bigger set in their type compared to when you're looking at the likes of Boyd. Now, what can she do? Doesn't mean they're going to be at too much of a disadvantage, because these horses, 1 minute they can be doing dressage and the next minute they can be going around the many miles of cross country, or then they could be coming here to an indoor arena in Maastricht and twisting and turning their way through the tightest of obstacles. So far it's 8 seconds though with the errors. Turning. Right, I'm pretty sure we've just found our way now back through D, which takes us down to the bottom to hook back through E, and then you're going to slide out the left-hand side so you can turn back in this top corner and just cut the corner. That's F on the side there. Then you go off to the left and let the horses pick up pace. You need to get the leaders out rushing from the beginning and really drag everything forward, and then the power and the pull comes from those wheelers at the back. Still on the 12 seconds to add as she heads back into the second set of obstacles. You can get a fair bit of pace through A because it comes on that corner, but then you get the turn back. She's been very careful to try. Maybe that was the curse of the commentator speaking too soon. I'm not sure she didn't knock that, but I don't think it set a sensor off. So it did. I was perhaps being a little overly hopeful. 16 seconds. It was another 4. and she was doing all she could to be careful. But this crowd are very much behind the fastest lady in world driving, as Annemarieke Meyer pushing her way around the Maastricht arena, coming towards the final gate with 20 to add. Where will she end up? 192.33, but actually, well, I was about to say that the scores just confused me, but 192.33 I can read. So, not the easiest start with those 20 seconds added in for Annemarieke Meyer there for Germany. 4 have gone, 2 to go. Well, this is the man from Belgium now, Glenn Geerts. Twice on the podium in the World Cup final in his career. Well, that's won medals at European and World Championships as part of the Belgium team. Actually, last year he got himself into the drive-off here on the opening night. He ended up finishing 3rd, but he was successful enough that then he ended up 5th in the qualifier on the Saturday night. What will the story for Glenn Geerts' season kick off with here in Maastricht this evening? He winded himself up, and now we're up and over the bridge. He's got through 1, he's got through 2. So he's kept it safe and sound in terms of the driving penalties, nothing to add at the moment as he got to the first set of obstacles. See, following in the wheel tracks of those that have been before him. Oh, his leaders have just gone a little outside. It was really funny because the offside there. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. They've pushed over the gate. You could see the outside leader was looking round going, I think we're meant to turn right here. And the inside leader was like, well, I've sort of missed that turn. Full marks to Glenn, though. He hasn't lost concentration himself. He's kept that laser focus and he's kept that control with his horses. He can push back on again. He has got the 4 seconds to add, despite the whole obstacle being on the floor. It counts the same as knocking a tennis ball off the top. A little large. Well, now the score's flown. Maybe it counts for more. Maybe there's a little bit of an extra addition gone in to what else happened over there. So here we go with the second round of obstacles on the left-hand side as we look at it from our position. Beautiful set of greys. So well matched, not just in their colour, but in their set, their style, their shape, and also the way that they all a similar height, giving them all a reasonably similar stride pattern. And then watch this when they begin to pull. You can see them go as a team. Wow, now we found a little extra. Trying to make a bit of time back, but he has got 24 seconds to add onto the clock as he races towards the finish. .28 to add, 279 on the clock. Not the easiest start to his night, but you know, we're blowing the cobwebs off. 1 or 2 of them here to kick the season off. So still leading, it's Boyd Excel, who's very much in control at the moment, but we've still got one more to go. So we, of course, get to start to look towards the qualification as well. So with Glenn's time in, we know now that Boyd Excel and Custeronda will definitely qualify for the drive off this evening. Bram Chardon is the one hanging on to find out. You'll have to wait to Gregor von Steen finishing things off, because it's the second chance for Germany tonight. In the 4 World Cup finals, 6 World Championships, he's won medals at both Team Worlds and, of course, including a Team Gold at the Europeans. Came here last year, had a little bit of a break before getting back into it again last year on the indoor season. Of course, you've got to finish high enough on the rankings on the outdoor season to qualify to come into the indoor world of FEI Driving World Cup series. It makes it ultra exclusive. Means you only get the best. Unfortunately, he's picked up 4 right at the start, so he's on the back hoof from the beginning. Nicely done. Just got a little bit wide, just lost that tiny little bit of control. Almost every time you slide half a metre to a metre wider on a turn than you wanted to. Well, you can see the stepman at the back there really hopping, trying to move the vehicle over. I mean, you don't want to waste any distance at all. He's doing a really good job at the moment, apart from the 12 seconds added on. But you know what? Let's remember that 166.22 is the cut-off line once your seconds are added in. If he can somehow better that, then he can get himself up into the top 3 and through to tonight's drive-off. Keeping it to the 12, heading towards the second gate. Not sure he's going to be quick enough to try and get himself ahead of Bram Chardon. They'll all be watching out the back, keeping a close eye on it. Round and round we go. We're nearly out of this. It's all... I mean, that really was a split-second manoeuvre. It almost looked like we were doing a little bit of the sidestep. Not quite sure how the horse managed to move from left to right quite that quickly. Look, can you miss it? We're off and running for the final run round to wrap up the opening drive for each of them here tonight, because it's Gregor van Steen. There's the last, and through he goes. He's going to stop the clock at 185.04. So the 12 seconds added in, 197 seconds. So, yeah, it's not quite enough. It's still good enough to put him in 4th this evening, 197.04. That had 12 seconds added on. Keep an eye on those times, because when they come back tomorrow, the drive-off inevitably has one less gate in each of the obstacles, so it's not quite comparable. But it means Boyd Excel, Custeronda and Bram Chardon, the 3 we were perhaps hoping for, are going forward tonight into the driving, or the second drive of the night here for the pre-qualifier for the FEI Driving World Cup in Maastricht. So at the moment, here's the order. Boyd Excel. Kusteronde, Ramschando, Igor von Stein, and Marika Meyer and Glenn Geert. So first out tomorrow night in the qualifier, in the points paying round, is going to be Glenn Geertz. Then it'll be Marika Meyer, my apologies. Then it'll be Gero von Stein. The order of the top three isn't yet set because, as you can see, they are going to come back. Interestingly, though, I mean, look at the advantage Boyd had over the rest of them, some 12 seconds up the road. Well, there's a little bit of arena maintenance about to take place down there on the arena floor, so we're going to take a little pause, and we'll come back with you very, very soon here on FEI TV tonight. We are live through to the finish with all the action to come in the second half and the second drive of this FEI Driving World Cup pre-qualifier.
mensen luisteren weer eens naar de Nederlandstalige muziek. Misschien nog een andere muziek te doen. Dat u een beetje mee gaat zingen. Een beetje Sweet Caroline, dat Johan Smaker misschien onze DJ zo snel nog kan laten horen. Dan kent u het allemaal. Zo even meeklappen met Sweet Caroline.
Well, we're ever closer to the second drive of the night. The drive-off is coming. Bram Chardin, Custeronda and Boyd Excel. But what horse show would be complete without a little bit of Sweet Caroline? Although, I'm not sure we're going to do that now, or are we going to do that now? I leave that in the capable hands of Bert de Rutte, the arena announcer, legendary Dutch commentator, one of the world's best, a man that is synonymous with equestrianism in this part of the world. Oh, he's going to give them another go. And we've got the phones out. Here we go. See, I can guarantee there's plenty of you sat wherever you are, and your foot's tapping, and your head's bobbing, and you're singing along quietly, aren't you? Maybe singing along loudly? And if you're expecting a big crescendo from me, not a chance. I shall leave it with you. See, I'm sure if this had been Sarah Dancer's week, my colleague in the FEI commentary box, over the course of the season, she'd have been singing by now. Right, let's get ready for the serious stuff because we are getting set for the second drive here. The drive-off is coming. 3 drivers, 3 of the very best, 2, of course, on home soil as well. We've learnt the course. To all intents, it is the same. It is just the final gate of F tonight that is taken out for the first competition, the drive-off for competition 1, without those final gates. We'll want to improve on the drive. He'll be pleased he got through. He won't be pleased with how far behind Boyd he was at the end of that opening drive, I'm sure. But it is the first night. But what could he do? The man that won the world title in Bordeaux this year, his 3rd World Cup final win. Mara Favori XX15, and of course in there as well is Serrari Caprola Setamorpho. It's the Dutch driver that goes first. The support is there. Let's go driving as we go racing one more time. Tick-tock, tick-tock, the clock is underway. Tremendous course tonight set by Jeroen Houteman, our course designer. Sitting back, getting ready, he knows what comes next. Here we go, into the tight twist. So he files his way through. Now, needs to turn back. He missed the turn, didn't he? Into C. He wanted to get through there the first time round, but he's had to make his way back out. Quite a long run round to find your way to D. He's come quite a long way out as well. It's all gone slightly wrong on him this evening. 28 so far the score. He's been finding it tough. He's sort of perhaps going to change the approach a little bit here now. You can see he's really put the brakes on with the horses. He's not letting them run. He's on for the control. He knows now. He's taken the pragmatic decision that he knows tomorrow night is when the points pay. Tomorrow night is the one that he really needs to make sure everything's right for. It's a little bit like we see with the show jumpers. You school out the rest of the round. So what he's got now is his horses really in control, keeping it steady. He's not asking for that extension. He's not asking for them to run. He wants to make sure they're listening to him. It's absolutely key in this game. Putting a little bit more work in now to try and reap the reward tomorrow. But you can see the improvement already now with the way that they're beginning to understand what he's asking a little bit more. Starting his season much earlier this year than he did last year. It's a tough night. So 239.47. That's the time, but it had 32 added into it, which is an expensive set of penalties. Be interesting to remember what's happened tonight when we watch tomorrow evening and see what a difference that makes. And that sudden switch, once it had all gone wrong, to change the approach tonight and really allow the horses time on the rest of that course, I think will reward him tomorrow evening. But there's a battle to put yourself in pole for tomorrow night, and it's still got a Dutchman involved and a man that has won here in Maastricht, the only other driver outside of Boyd Excel to have won on a Saturday night. Can he put himself in pole position for the Saturday night drive here tomorrow? Kusteronde won the Saturday night drive back in 2018. Can he do it this time round? Well, there'll be plenty watching around this arena that'll be keeping their fingers, toes and everything else crossed, because we're off to the races once more. His opening drive had 4 seconds added into it. Even if you remove those 4 seconds, he was still then another 8 seconds away from Boyd. So he's really got to find some extra pace now. And let the confidence come through. The horses galloping as a team, covering the ground at an amazing rate of knots. Also see how the brakes work to the back. Every now and then just keep your eye. It's so hard to sort of conceptually watch every single element of what's going on, because one minute you're looking at the leaders and the way they're turning, how the wheelers pull through. What's the driver doing? Look how quick and light they are with their hands, using their voice, to the way the grooms are on the back, leaning over, holding things down, the step man hopping and changing, moving things around, the brakes turning and holding. There is so much going on through every single second of this drive, and he is absolutely flying, and he's still clean as well. It's a full free drive so far for the Dutchman. Kusteronde flies on the up and over. It's going to be all important what goes on through the second batch of obstacles. It's the 360. He's got D out of the way. He's found his way through E, and now you can break free because there is no F in this first drive off. And now the crowd are really beginning to will him and push him all the way round. He's got to find his way all the way. It's a full 360 of this fabulous Maastricht arena for Kusteronda. He's absolutely flying along. It's a much quicker drive than he could have perhaps seen from the opening. 104. Oh, he's had a gate at the end. Oh, how expensive will or will that not be? We do not know, but I'll tell you what, that was a tremendous effort. And as good as Boyd is, he occasionally has penalties, so that's not out of the question. But he's secured himself second. And tomorrow is a different day. Turning on a sixpence, as we'd say. You'll notice, of course, he's got the whip, but it's more to just signal than it is. They're very rarely using it. Right, what has he got for us tonight? Boyd XL. It's the pre-qualifier, the final drive of the night on the Friday. Can he put himself in pole for the World Cup round on Saturday night? Here we go, Boyd XL. Three times a winner on a Saturday night here. He wants to make sure he's got that pole and that final drive slot tomorrow night if he can. Keeps the horses cantering. I mean, the agility of these equine athletes, the fact that the way, like a dressage horse, he is able to ask them both to go from a collected movement to an extended movement to a collected movement. We see in dressage how hard that is. I mean, that's what dressage is all about, showing that immense training and that. But to do that with a team of 4 in driving is what gives this man that unbelievable understanding and control over his horses. Confident at the moment. There's your time to beat, 150.81 as he goes through the double of cones. Next up, it's the second set of obstacles. It's going to come down to this. He'll be feeling confident about the run to home that comes afterwards. What he'll need to know is he can get through these obstacles without giving himself too many problems. Obstacle driving, the world's craziest magic roundabout, and we're done. Here we go. "25 seconds, surely he's got this." Look at those leaders really pulling forward, taking this vehicle. The power from the wheelers. The sand flies to the side as Boyd XL is back in business here in Maastricht on the FEI Driving World Cup circuit for 2024 and 2025. He may well have been pipped to the post in the final in Bordeaux this year, but he means to fight his way back to the final once more. What a night. 137.63. Nothing to add. You know, even if you took the 4 seconds off the time of Kusteronda, he was still sort of, what, 7 seconds up the road? Well, the hat is off as he salutes this amazing audience. Maastricht, such a fabulous place for the series to stop because they really do love their driving here in the Netherlands. Everyone will be looking forward to tomorrow night with the big Saturday night drive. But tonight, we now know that going into that round of the FEI World Cup driving, the second leg of the season, it's going to be this man, Boyd Excel, that will be last out in that opening drive. Kusteronde, Bram Chardon. Then it'll be tonight George van Stein or Gerard van Stein and Marieke Meyer and Glenn Geertz. Glenn with the unenviable job of having to go first tomorrow night. So that's the final scores. Times is probably a better way of putting it, but their scores as well because of the faults for R3. But it is another Australian victory. But I've got a feeling tomorrow night, Bram Chardon. We'll see. I mean, Boyd looked like, he's hit the ground running, don't get me wrong. Bram will be disappointed with the way tonight's gone. I'm not trying to discount Koos, but you know that Bram Chardon is the one that can really, that's a not realistic time tonight. Once he'd had the issue, he changed the approach, he put the horses into schooling mode, and that could work in his favour tomorrow evening. What a night. I am absolutely delighted that to be back enjoying one of my most favourite sports. We'll get set for the presentations in a few moments' time. Well, there's the calendar for the season already. Lyon has passed us, that was last week, and Maastricht now, Stuttgart next week, and then we have a little week off before we fly to Stockholm, Geneva and London, back to back in December, and then straight into Mechelen between Christmas and New Year. We head to Leipzig in the middle of January. That's the final qualifier. Bordeaux is the final.
Achteravond is het voor het zadel win vanavond de William Pully, de 50 Logi ranking stand. We zagen de mooie show van Anja L. Berto uit Frankrijk, gaan we ook morgen nog optreden zorgen. U zag de FEI Driving World Cup competition qualifier. Ja, Nederland protocol, dames en heren, staan al paraat om zodanig de prijzen aan te reiken per Gubbels namens het bestuur. Namens de voorzitter burgerlijkheden, de heer Sartijn. Gaan ze alle drie inhalen met prijsstrijking beginnen zodanig met de nummer 3, dan de nummer 2 en dan de winnaar. Ze gaan er niet in echt hele lange keer nog meer aan vastkomen, immers morgen ze moeten ze op die aanstaande paarden. Dus ik maak nog één iets sparen voor de dag van morgen.
Well, as you can see, the final preparations just underway ahead of the presentation of awards here tonight for the pre-qualification for the FEI Driving World Cup. The Saturday night to come with the points given out in this second leg of the season. Tonight, it's certainly given us quite some clue as to what might, or may not, happen tomorrow. As somebody much wiser than me has just messaged me, there is nothing like it. She's right, there isn't. There is something uniquely special about watching a team of 4 race around at those speeds in these confines. And we will go to Stuttgart next week, and that arena is, again, I mean, all the indoor arenas are special, but Maastricht is that little bit tighter, that little bit smaller. I mean, Stuttgart next week's huge. They even put a river in. It's a bit like Geneva. I mean, seriously, if you haven't watched this season, this series from start to finish, from Lyon last week all the way through to our return to France in Bordeaux for the final, it's something you must do what you can to follow. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, there is going to be so much that you will learn, but also enjoy. On any given occasion. Tonight was an unusual set of circumstances, but it is perhaps the great battle of the sport. Chardon and Boyd excel, and as I said at the start, the thing with Boyd being so good, I mean, not just good but great, is just the most unbelievable talent behind the reins of a team of horses. But he is lifted, and every season you see it. He gets pushed harder every year. He's got to find and keep lifting his game. But in doing so, with him being as good as he is, he's lifted the ceiling of all the other drivers in this sport and allowed them room to grow and get better, because they all want to beat him. They're great friends, all of them. A tremendous camaraderie, but they're all competitors. Well done tonight. He at least got himself into the drive-off. The reigning holder of the FEI Driving World Cup, Chardon, for the Netherlands. Lovely to see Koos de Ronde in here this evening. The Dutch driver taking second tonight. He's done I mean, I haven't really expected too much about him, but I think he'll be relatively satisfied. Okay, so what, 7-8 seconds off on each run, Boyd's times. But he's better than the rest of them. And, you know, Boyd may well be a legend in his own lifetime, but even the best make mistakes, and we've all seen Boyd have the occasional fault, and if that happens, it's the sort of event where Koos could still find his way to the front. But there's something about coming to Maastricht for Boyd. He puts it in the diary, he makes sure he's here. The year that Koos won it, the first year it was held here back in 2018, you would be perhaps not surprised to find out that Boyd finished second. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Tonight is just the qualifier. It's the teaser for what comes on a Saturday night in the world of driving. Big smiles, great driving. 4 amazing horses in each of the teams, and the teams far exceed when you add in not only the 2 grooms that we see in action, but all of the other support staff as well that form these amazing setups. What a start to Maastricht it has been. He will take the pole position slot going in to the Saturday night drive in the FEI Driving World Cup here tomorrow. As he heads off on his lap of honour, I shall leave you enjoy that, and I'll look forward to being alongside you for the drive tomorrow night, live here on FEI TV. But from a Friday in Maastricht, have a great night. Thank you for being with us, and we'll catch up soon.
FEI Driving World Cup, the top three of this evening. Third, Rob second, Lars de Hoppe. Winner, Mark Excel. Let's see you once again. Dankjewel Marcel, dankjewel winnaar Bart Excel. Dit was de sportserie Jumping in Maastricht. Entertainment gaan we jullie veel plezier in de village. Wat mij betreft fijne avond nog. En we zien jullie morgen weer terug bij Jumping in Maastricht hier in het Beck. Tot dan.